When Triple H took the reins of WWE creative years back, one of the first things he did was start hunting down almost every name Vince McMahon had badly mismanaged, from former NXT champions to talent that never got a real shot on the main roster. The game was hungry to give these names a second chance. Some of these rehires paid off massively. Take CM Punk, who is now WWE's biggest star, the current champion, and even a close personal ally of Triple H. The same can be said for names like Chelsea Green. But make no mistake, these are the rare exceptions. Shockingly, roughly 90% of these rehires ended in complete failure. Most of them aren't even employed by WWE anymore in any capacity. Stick around as we count down 10 of the worst Triple H rehires in WWE history. And trust us, some of these will genuinely shock you. If you love wrestling drama like this, do yourself a favor, smash subscribe. Hit the bell so you never miss a video. Number 10, Emma. Wait, Emma actually got another run in WWE? Yep, that's right. Back in 2022, Triple H brought Emma back into the fold, and things kicked off strong when she faced Ronda Rousey in what was easily the biggest match of her entire career. Sadly, though, that was the only highlight of her entire return, because she was booked to do absolutely nothing once she was on the main roster. In fact, Emma barely won a single match, and the ones she did win came on WWE main event. Just like most names on this list, Emma was brought back simply because the game liked her personally, but there was zero concrete plan for her on the main roster. Just like Vince McMahon used to pull talent up from NXT with no real direction, Triple H repeated the exact same pattern with his rehires, and that's exactly why so many of them flopped so hard. Number 9, Top Dollar. WWE's decision to bring back the entire Hit Row group was a genuinely interesting move back in 2022. It was interesting mainly because their former leader Swerve Strickland had already jumped to AEW, and calling him a standout member of the group would be a serious understatement. Fans questioned why the group was even brought back, and it later came out that this had been a personal priority rehire for the game, which makes doing absolutely nothing with them even more baffling. Their run as a faction lasted barely over a year before WWE abruptly and unceremoniously fired Top Dollar, throwing the entire group into chaos. We never got a clear explanation for why Dollar was released, yet he found decent success over in TNA. And who knows, maybe he'll return to WWE again someday. Ashante Adonis stuck around WWE for several years, and it came as a genuine shock when he was eventually released, since most fans didn't even realize he was still with the company. Adonis has since signed with AEW. As for B-Fab, she's still active in WWE and currently part of a villainous stable led by Jade Cargill, and credit where it's due, she keeps getting sharper in the ring. Number 8, AOP. On paper, this return should have been a massive success. This duo genuinely improved by leaps and bounds during their final run on the main roster, and their partnership alongside Seth Rollins was seriously underrated and deserved way more credit than it got. Bringing the duo back seemed like a genuinely smart move since the tag division badly needed the boost, and Triple H had already proven exactly how to present them during their earlier NXT days. The duo returned as part of a faction known as the Final Testament. This was a stable carrying The Undertaker's cross, and calling it a flop would honestly be putting it mildly. Fans simply didn't care about this group, and they were never given a real reason to invest in whatever was happening on television. AOP's ring time was drastically cut during this stretch, and both men looked almost completely checked out whenever they wrestled. Sadly, the two were both released early last year, and the reasoning behind it quickly turned into a genuine talking point among fans. Rezar claimed in an interview with Ariel Helwani that a backstage altercation with a member of the Wyatt Six led directly to the release. Rezar himself admitted the incident was seriously unprofessional, though he refused to name names, only revealing that during a holiday tour, someone tried switching up the planned match mid-match, something he considered completely unacceptable, especially coming from someone still fairly new to the company, while he himself had been there for years. This incident must have been genuinely serious because there hasn't been a single rumor of a return for the duo since it happened. Number 7, Sarah Logan. WWE brought Sarah Logan back only to turn her into an absolute joke of a character on television. Logan initially returned as her established familiar persona before WWE made a bizarre detour and rebranded her as Valhalla. This character was openly mocked on television and got zero reaction because it was just so ridiculous. Perhaps the only genuinely standout moment for Valhalla came during the Royal Rumble, when Io Sky accidentally entered the match in her designated spot instead. There was simply no realistic way Triple H genuinely expected a character like this to get over with fans in today's modern era. Naturally, Logan was released yet again in the summer of 2025, making her entire return a complete and total waste of time. Number 6, Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano could have easily become a main event player under Triple H. Back when Triple H ran NXT, Gargano was his absolute ace. He was the top babyface, and Triple H literally built him into the brand's own version of John Cena. Things started off well for Gargano on the main roster, as he was presented like a legitimate big deal upon his return. For a while, it genuinely looked like WWE was going to make DIY the faces of the tag division. Unfortunately, once Gargano's partner Tommaso Ciampa left the company, this former NXT champion was left in complete limbo, and he still hasn't recovered from it. Gargano's current gimmick literally has him sleeping and resting on top of a crate backstage, doing absolutely nothing else. This gimmick sounds absolutely insane, and fans remain in total disbelief that it's still going on after all this time. That's literally 6-7 months now. Gargano hasn't had a singles match on the main roster since March. That means WWE is wasting one of the most skilled in-ring workers on the roster. There's hope WWE turns this sleeping angle into a massive twist, where Gargano snaps out of it like zombie Linda McMahon and walks away with championship gold. Yet at this stage, that seems extremely unlikely. Number 5, the Good Brothers. Seriously, what was the point of WWE bringing back Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson? The main purpose of their return was reuniting them with AJ Styles. Yet nothing meaningful came from it, and the duo ended up stuck in limbo for months on end. This talented tag team kept getting shuffled between NXT and SmackDown, yet none of it did much to justify their spot on the roster. It's honestly become a running joke that this duo returns to WWE every few years for a pointless run, and it keeps happening far too often. Triple H clearly had no concrete plan for either of them, yet it does appear the two remain on genuinely good terms with the company, since they've made several cameos in the months following their WWE exit. Number 4, Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas was honestly one of the most underrated NXT champions of all time. His character work was exceptional, and he managed to bring plenty of his talent to the main roster, with his run alongside Curtis Axel and The Miz becoming a fan favorite. Dallas returned to WWE under Triple H to portray the sinister Uncle Howdy persona. This character was built as a tribute to Dallas's late brother, the great Bray Wyatt. Yet something about the entire presentation just never clicked with audiences. Dallas would go on to lead the group known as the Wyatt Six. After an incredible television debut, arguably the greatest debut of the modern era, WWE got stuck in a creative rut when it came to this stable. The rivalries against groups like the MFTs dragged on for far too long, and WWE stopped putting real effort into fleshing out these characters. When every single member of the stable was released in 2026, fans were completely baffled, since this group could have been a genuinely huge attraction for the company. It even came as a major surprise to the group's own members that WWE decided to cut Dallas. Dallas was reportedly extremely well-liked backstage throughout WWE, and even if the Uncle Howdy character truly wasn't working, they could have easily reverted back to the beloved Bo Dallas NXT persona instead. Some fans have even theorized that this entire run was just a complete sham, designed purely to market the passing of Bray Wyatt. Honestly, I wouldn't put it past them at all. Number 3, Erick Rowan. Now, much like Bo Dallas, Erick Rowan's firing from WWE was a genuinely questionable call. Rowan was a reliable big man for the company, and during his initial run, he had high-profile programs with names like Roman Reigns, and even wrestled The Rock at WrestleMania. The problem was that Rowan barely wrestled, basically just standing around doing nothing for over a year. This was a complete waste of money and a complete waste of resources. Unfortunately, Triple H's pattern of bringing back relatively big names and booking them to do nothing is a worrying trend, and it's still happening today with the 2026 roster. Number 2, Erick Young. One of Triple H's personal favorite wrestlers has always been Erick Young. The two reportedly shared a close personal bond, so naturally the game wanted him back as soon as possible once he took over WWE Creative. It's unclear exactly what Young's role was going to be, since some reports suggested he'd be wrestling, while others claimed he'd become a coach or producer. Regardless, Young never actually returned to television, because the moment he found out Vince McMahon was involved in the creative process yet again, he immediately requested his release. According to Fightful Select, Erick Young has always shared a strong, long-standing relationship with Triple H, and WWE insiders have consistently said the door remains open for Young's eventual return. Triple H reportedly never wanted Young to leave in the first place, but once Young learned Vince McMahon had become involved with WWE again, he made the call to request his release immediately. Young is now a free agent, and it's widely believed Triple H will once again attempt to bring him back into the fold someday. And number 1, Karrion Kross. At one point back in 2025, Karrion Kross was genuinely one of the most popular names on the entire main roster. This happened after Kross delivered a shoot promo during WrestleMania weekend, and naturally, fans instantly gravitated toward it. The issue was that WWE gave Kross countless chances to get over following his return to the company. He was booked in programs against names like Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and Rey Mysterio, and every single one of these failed to truly deliver. Kross was even handed his own stable, which did very little to actually generate interest. While WWE probably should have capitalized harder on Kross following that shoot promo, it's somewhat understandable why they hesitated afterward. Some fans, particularly those on social media, were fairly critical of Kross's work, and honestly, his matches with Sami Zayn didn't deliver what was genuinely needed at the top level. But it's not entirely on Kross either, since WWE and Triple H seriously botched his initial presentation from the start. Kross looked set to feud with Roman Reigns over the world title. Yet just a few weeks after his return, this storyline was abruptly dropped and never mentioned again. Some fans feel this was a clear sign the run wasn't going to live up to expectations, and unfortunately, they turned out to be right. But there you have it, folks, 10 of the absolute worst Triple H WWE rehires. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We genuinely want to know who shocked you most. And we'll see you next time with even more wrestling content.